Hello, I am Mary, and this is Athena's Biblioteca. It's been a little bit since I made a video, not gonna lie, but I am super excited about this video because it's the video that's one of the favorite videos to make, I feel like, of most people, because it means that you can talk about all your favorite books from the year. This, obviously from the title, is my best books of 2025, and I'm excited to talk about them. I read 25 books in 2025. I've just realized that that is actually very satisfying to have read 25 books in the year of 2025, and that makes me so much happier about that number. 9 of those books were 5 stars, and a couple of them were rereads because I was trying to get through Monstrous, so I reread a couple of them. Still 5 stars, still amazing, still have not passed volume 3, but maybe I will do that this year. That is the plan. I have ordered these books, and I'm only going to talk about my top 5 reads, and I didn't, so if I read more than one book in a series, I only chose one of the books in that series to talk about on this list, and I didn't put any rereads on this list either, so Monstrous is not going to be on the list, even though it would have if I decided to use rereads. And I have somehow still talked myself into talking about it in this video when I wasn't going to. But I guess in case you didn't know, Monstrous is great, and I reread some of the volumes this year. But they're not going to be on this list. So without further ado, let me talk about the 5th most favorite book I read this year. That's going to be Fireborn by Rosaria Munda. This book is so good, and I loved it so very much, which I will say probably a lot in this video because it's the best books of the year video, as everyone seems to do. If you've never heard about Fireborn before, let me enlighten you on this amazing story. So in this story, there was a revolution previously to this story starting. You're following the aftermath of that, from the point of view of 2 kids, Annie and Lee. Lee was the son of the previous leader of the government that was taken down, and Annie was someone that was in a very low class from the previous government. And they meet at an orphanage and become friends, and you're following from their point of view the story. They end up at Dragon College, I guess, Dragon Military. They're learning to ride dragons and fight with them, basically. There's a lot of them trying to figure out whether or not the government that took over from the previous one is actually any better than the one before it, and they're trying to determine whether they want to keep upholding this new government or find something else that is better. I don't know how the way I'm describing it doesn't sound good, but I love this story, and I love Lee, and I love Annie, and they're both amazing. I will say that yes, this is a dragon book, but I feel like the dragons in this story are very much like, or at least in this one, they're very much just like a weapon the military uses. I don't know if I've convinced you to read this, but just know that it's amazing and that you should, because I loved it so much. I wasn't even finished with this story and I bought the sequels. Have I finished? Have I continued on? That's a good question, and the answer is no. But I'm super excited to continue, and from other people that I've heard talk about this book series, the sequels are just as good as the first one, if not better. So that makes me excited, but I'm just also a person that when I'm excited about something, I put it off until the very last second because I'm afraid it's going to disappoint me. It's just what I do. One of my most anticipated books of the year, I didn't finish until like the last minute of the year. So, here go. It's probably going to be a second to like continue the series, but I really hope that I get to them soon because I love these characters, and the way that this one ended has me very intrigued about what they're going to do next, and I want to know the answers to everything. We'll see if it happens. I hope that it happens. I'm hoping that I get more reading in than I did last year, but we'll see. Sequels to this book is definitely on the list, especially with it being on my best books of 2025. In fourth place for the books I read in 2025 is Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell. This book was definitely the most surprising on this list because it's definitely not something that I normally read, but I have heard people say that it could be categorized as cozy horror, and I would agree with that. It's so adorable, even though it is very gory at times as well. There's a lot of body horror, but it's like such not my focus when I was reading it that I didn't even like care. Like, I can see why other people would be grossed out by some of the stuff in here, but I was just so interested in other parts of the story that I did not like, it didn't even cross my mind to be grossed out by it. In Someone You Can Build a Nest In, you're following a monster called Sheshin, who is like a shapeshifter. She is a shapeshifter, not like she is a shapeshifter. And she, from the way that it's described, in the way that I've imagined it in my head, is that she, without adding parts to her body or absorbing parts into her body, she is like just this pile of goop. And in the start of the story, these men come into her home to try to find this monster that they heard about and kill her, and talking about Sheshin. And they wake her up out of hibernation, and she uses metal bars and a bear trap for her teeth, and she like rolls on the ground when she wakes out of hibernation to like build herself a skeleton to be able to shapeshift and walk and talk like a human, and goes from there as she like tries to get these people out of her house, out of her home, when they rudely woke her before she was ready to be awoken. And I think that's perfectly reasonable for her to do. Just saying. There's also, you end up meeting Homily, and she's so precious, and I love her so much. And you meet Homily's family, and you don't like them so much. It's just a grand old time, and I am definitely one of the people that want more people to talk about this because I adored it so very much. It was just surprising to me how much I liked it because, first of all, I wanted to pick this up specifically so I could watch so Gavin Reads It All, and Katie Coulson did this video series where they each chose a book and they each read those books and put a video together, and this was one of them. And that video made me want to read it so I could watch that video. Video was worth it, by the way, but especially loved that video because it made me read this book. I'll leave a link to that video below for you to watch. If you've already read this book, I definitely recommend that video because it's fantastic and I loved watching that video. And I'm just glad that it convinced me that I should give this book a try. And now it's in the top 5 books of I read in 2025. So props to that video for making me pick this book up. And then finally, because is it a video by me if I don't mention Frieren Beyond Journey's End? The volume 12 is my third top favorite of the year, and it's so good. Still adore Frieren. She's amazing. The first volume is where you meet Frieren, obviously, in her previous group of adventurers that they had just completed a mission to defeat the Demon King. And the story follows Frieren's adventures and growth after they defeated the Demon King, after the big bad was defeated. And I've loved every second of it. Every volume is amazing. It's just, the story has my whole heart, and I just want to be friends with Frieren so bad. Especially since if I was friends with Frieren, I would never have to worry about anything because she just take care of, like, she's just great. Actually, she is a little not with the times because she's an elf, and so she's so long lived that she doesn't have the same view on passage of time as, say, I do, who is not going to live thousands of years. But I still love her, and I'm so happy with this volume. I think it was a great installment in it, and it gives you light into some characters that are pretty prevalent throughout the story, but they're more prevalent in this volume than they were before, and I just love that. I love that we got to see a little bit more of those interactions between these characters. And if you read volume 3 and how it ends, volume 11 and how it ends, I think this volume is a great way for the ending of 11 to have panned out. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. I just am very happy with this volume, and I very much enjoyed it. It's probably one of my favorite volumes so far. If I want to say that, I think I do. I think it was great, and I loved it. Obviously, it's on my top books of the year. And as I say every time, you should go and start this manga series. If you don't want to read the manga, you can watch the anime. It's so good as well. Second season is coming out sometime soon in January. Super excited about that. Can't wait. I'm so excited. I also got the anime as a DVD for Christmas, which makes me super excited. Definitely wanting to do a rewatch of the first season. Anyways, that I think is all I wanted to say about Frieren, and you should read it. My second book of the year is actually a finale to a trilogy, and that is Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales by Heather Fawcett. I have rated every single Emily Wilde book 5 stars, and I think every single one of them has been on my top books of the year because they're just amazing. I love Emily and Wendell so much, and I think that this conclusion was very well done in my personal opinion. I loved it a lot, obviously. In the first book in the series was called Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, where Emily goes to a small town to study fairies. And in that story, I just remember falling in love with Emily, and it's still true to this day. I still adore her. I love her, and I love Wendell, and I love Emily and Wendell's interactions to each other. It's just great. And I think that this conclusion was very well done, in my opinion, because for one, you see quite a few characters from previous books, and you get to meet them again. And some characters that you wouldn't expect to come back up again is brought up in this conclusion, and I just found that very amusing. It was very fun to get the little tidbits from the previous books in this story. I just really find that entertaining to see those callbacks. And the first book in the series, every once in a while you get tidbit stories from this world about fairies in the book, and you didn't get that in the second one, but they do that again in this one, and I find that very entertaining. Also, footnotes are still there and I still love them. It's amazing. It's great. I am happy to have read it. This is definitely my favorite in the series. I am definitely in the camp of Emily Wilde, the Emily Wilde series getting better with each new book. And I think that's mostly because I get more attached to the characters because you have more background into who they are as characters, and I adore that so much. Also, I just remember starting this book and being like, man, I miss these characters. They're so good. I love them so much. Like, just within 10 pages of reading the story, I was just like so happy to be back in this world, and I'm so sad that this is the last one. I hope that Heather Fawcett decides to make like a short story collection or something in this world, like a lot of authors seem to like doing when a book gets super popular. I would not be upset if she does that. And that is my second book of 2025. And now for number one book of 2025. So excited to talk about this. It was my most anticipated book of the year. I wanted to read this as soon as I heard that it was going to be a thing, because if you know nothing about me, know this. I am slightly obsessed with Tinkerbell. I like Tinkerbell. I love the movies. I like the books. And I specifically was raising the clock so that I could put this on my best books of the year, because I was reading it till like almost midnight on the 31st to get this read so I could put it in this video, because I knew this was going to be my favorite book of the year and I wanted to talk about it as soon as I could. And that book is Wings of Starlight by Alison Saft. I'm so utterly happy about this book's existence. It makes me so happy, even with the ending being so sad, but you know, it's fine. So if you are unaware, I did talk about Tinkerbell, so this is in the world of Tinkerbell. In Pixie Hollow is where we are, but this is before Tinkerbell is born, and it's before Queen Clarion becomes queen. It's pre-coronation Clarion, and how she meets Mallory from the Winterwoods. And it's amazing, and I love it. It's more than just the relationship that you follow between Clarion and Mallory. She also has these friends that I adore called Petra and Artemis, which I did not expect in this story, but I adored them. They were precious. Artemis is Clarion's guard, and Petra is Clarion's best friend, who is the Royal Tinker, which made me happy to see a Tinker in this story, obviously, as a fan of Tinkerbell. I love them, and you get to see a lot of how a queen for Pixie Hollow is chosen, and I thought that was very interesting. And you get to see how Queen Alvina, I still don't know how to say her name, she is the queen that is currently reigning, and she is preparing Clarion to take the crown as her coronation is coming up, and she is trying to learn, Clarion is trying to learn all of the things that she needs to do as a good queen for Pixie Hollow. Obviously, something really scary starts happening, and Clarion is trying to fix it, especially when she doesn't think that Queen Elvina is doing the right thing to try to fix this problem, and she is going out of her way to fix it in a solution that she thinks is more right. And it's beautiful, and I love it a lot. It's so sweet. Every time I saw Clarion and Mallory interact, it was so sweet, and I loved seeing her friendship with Petra and Artemis. It was beautiful. I loved Artemis and Petra's interactions as well together. They were a fantastic, great addition to the story. I just love it a lot. I kind of want to see someone read this that has no prior knowledge of the movies and how they would react to this story. But also, I feel like I would still adore this story whether I've watched the movies or not. But obviously I can't tell you that for certain because I have seen the movies a million times. I don't know if I've talked about this yet while I've been raving about this story. So this story came about because of, so there's Tinkerbell, then there's Tinkerbell in the Lost Treasure, and then there's Tinkerbell in the Great Fairy Rescue, and then there's Secret of the Wings. The fourth movie in the Tinkerbell movie franchise talks about fairies in the winter woods. And you find out about the relationship between Clarion and Mallory in that movie, but you only get snippets of it. This is like an extended version of that story you see in Secret of the Wings. And if you've ever seen Secret of the Wings, you know that this book is going to be amazing. And everyone should read it. It should be like taught in schools and stuff. I'm just joking. It really doesn't need to be taught in schools, but I just loved it a lot and I think it deserves it. Top book of the year, Wings of Starlight. It's amazing. Definitely recommend. Obviously, it's my favorite book of the year, and I probably will continue to talk about it in every video that I can bring it up in because I loved it a lot. Did I still continue to talk about it before I read it? I was able to figure out a way to put this book in videos without having even read it before. But I'm so happy I did because I loved it. It lived up to every expectation I had for it, plus some, and it was great. And I'm happy that I read it. It just makes me very happy, okay? But also, if you have seen the Tinkerbell movies and you haven't picked this up yet, what's wrong with you? Get on that. You should do that right now. Go to your local library, see if they have it, find it on Libby, try to buy it if you are able, do what you gotta to put this on your TBR so you can read it. And then you can talk to me and gush about how amazing it is. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry that you don't have taste. I'm just kidding. Everyone has different tastes. And if you don't like it, I guess that's okay. I just don't agree. Anyways, Alison Saft, my #1 book of 2025. Thank you for letting me gush about these books that I read in 2025. It was great, and now I can read hopefully so many more favorite books for 2026, and I can gush about them next year when I decide on what books I want in that list. Hopefully I have lots to talk about in that video as well. So that is all I had to talk to you about today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to leave a comment, please let me know what your favorite book of the year was. And if you've read any of the books on my list, what were your thoughts on them? Obviously, I would like them to be positive, but if they're negative, I guess I can read those too, and I won't say anything. I'll just be like, I am sorry that you did not have a good time. I loved it. That is all. I hope to see you soon in another video. That is one of my goals, is to keep up with this video making thing that I do on YouTube. But as always, I make no promises. Bye.